Hey there, and welcome back to my craft room. This is the third and final card in my Boughs of Holly sentiment bow, product class. This is the last card we're doing today. I really like this one as well. Not quite as much as the one we did before, but this one is probably my second favourite. We're using the time-worn type embossing folder as the background there. We've got one set of leaves and berries, so they're stamped the same colours as we did for our first card. We're using some wonderful glimmer paper there just to give some bling and some wonderful gold embellishments as well. So yeah, let's have a look and see how we go putting this one together. Okay, so this is what your kit will sort of look like. Okay, as I always say, be careful getting your bits out because you will have bling and you will have little die cuts that you don't want to lose. Okay, so I'll just burnish that. Doesn't seem to be folded very tight. So this one again is another landscape card, so it goes long ways. And you've got there a basic white card base. I'm getting carried away ahead of myself here. Basic white card base, normal size for me. And you've got a panel of basic white that's been popped through the time-worn type embossing folder. So I'm just going to add that one straight to the card base. Nothing too clever there. Just pop that on there. I just love this embossing folder. It gives sort of a really antique-y, old world sort of look. Okay, so then we have, that's the same sentiment box that we used in our first card with the sort of little flappy bit there. And we're going to pop that on the centre there. But what we'll do first of all is stamp it. So on the original card, I've used Peace and Joy, and I'm going to use that again. Now in the stamp set, Peace and Joy are 3 different stamps. So Peace is a stamp, and is a stamp, and Joy is a stamp. Quite like the and being separate because I've used that on another couple of cards for non-Christmas related things, but it does make it a wee bit tricky to stamp them in the right relationships with each other. So what I've done is just pop them on my block. They are all touching each other, so the and is pretty much hard up against the joy and the peace. So they're all sort of crammed in there. They're all attached, obviously. But before I do it on my sentiment box, I'm going to just have a bit of a practice. So just make sure, pop them on, line them up as best you think, and then just grab a scrap piece of paper and see how they go. Okay, so I can see from that my piece is a wee bit crooked. Nothing worse than crooked piece. So I need to bring it a little bit straighter. So just do a little bit of trial and error. Always good to use your grid paper. You can always, or grid paper underneath your block so you can line that up. Okay, so let's give that another go. It might be that the piece is straight and the joy and out of whack. Okay, so now I've done that. I like my piece, but my end is a little bit too far down. So let's have another little play. Just sort of trial and error until you get them right. You might be lucky and get them right the first time. I'm never that lucky. So let's try. Third time lucky. Yep, I'm happy with that. So that third one is I'm happy. There's a nice distance between the peace and the joy, and they seem to be running in parallel to each other. So I'm going to keep that on the block and come back to it and bring the sentiment box in. Okay, bring the block back. We hadn't finished, had we? So now we're actually going to put it on the sentiment box. So with this one, we're going to have all our decorations to the left-hand side there. So we want to put our sentiment a bit more towards the right, just so we don't have to worry about fitting it in around our sentiments. So there we are. There you are. So that's our peace and joy. Now, what would be nice on the inside of this one, if you then bring in from our home to yours or to friends near and far, and bring that in as a follow-in sentiment maybe inside. So your peace and joy from our home to yours makes it run. It sort of sort of flows really well. Okay, so nothing too fancy schmancy now. We're just going to add our sentiment box. So centrally up and down, so in the middle, same distance top and bottom. But imagine that these holly leaves weren't here. The sentiment box would end about there. So you have to sort of put it so that it looks central as far as the design is concerned. So on that right hand side, let's measure that. I'll see. From the edge of the sentiment box to the edge of the card is 1 inch. So there you are. It's 1 inch in from the right hand edge. Okay, just like that. Okay, so then we've got our holly leaves and normal leaves, holly leaves and berries, and some really nice little bling, sprigs of bling there. So I have already stamped and cut the holly leaves and berries, exactly the same as we did in the first one. So the background is smoky slate, the foreground is evening evergreen, and they've just been cut and stamped and die cut. Okay, so we're going to pop these, and it's a little bit of a shame we're actually going to lose a lot of our that background holly leaves there. We're going to cut those and pop them on the front, just like that. So the big one leans to the right, the little one leans to the left. So you let them do their natural lean. So that's what we want to do there. You may find, and it's probably good to do preemptively, that one is too long. So just chop half an inch or a quarter of an inch or something off his end. We'll lean this one over. There. Pop the piece from our sentiment is sort of framed a little bit by the gap in the leaves there. So that's the sort of look you're going for. Then we'll bring in our smaller leaf. That goes off to the left-hand side. There we are. A bit untidy at the end, the bottom there, but we are going to cover that with our berries, so worry not. Okay, last thing we need to, well, not last thing, we've got here, this is just a die cut of a holly leaf, so just in sort of the silhouette of one. This is just straight from the die set in basic white. We're going to sort of soften those leaves by covering them slightly with this one. So just some glue on the back and pop that just in the center there. Okay. There we are. How's that? Okay. Last thing to do, we're going to grab some dimensionals and we're going to pop our holly berries on some dimensionals. And as I said, that's going to cover over our slightly mucky, well, not mucky, untidy ends there. There we are. Love that. Okay, not much to do now. Now you get your sprigs. This is from the die set as well. Yours will be in glimmer paper, so they'll have a sparkle to them, like these ones. I just had some gold foil scrap lying around, so that's what I've used for mine. Just pop some glue on the back and pop those in as well. They sort of snuggle in behind the berries. Okay, so there we are. I just give that sticking to my fingers. They give that extra bit of specialness to the card. Okay. Last thing we need to do now is add our bling. Now, all of you, or most of you, will have the gold festive pearls. I did run out about a couple of kits short, so a few of you will be very lucky and have a preview of the gold swirls, gold adhesive back swirls, and that's what I'm going to use for mine. Yeah, these are the new. They come with the, well, they're part of the fitted frames collection, and they are very limited edition. They're only going to be available from the 1st of November through to the 2nd of January, I think it is, something like that. So yeah, lucky ones of you who scored a preview of those. Yeah, so definitely add those to your order, your first order in January, in November, I mean. But I am going to use them on my card because I can, and because I've run out of gold pearls. Always happens a couple of kits short. Okay, but they are glorious. They are divine. I'm going to use those a lot once they become available to customers. Okay, so that's card number 3. That is our class done. 3 cards, 3 very different cards, and 3 lovely, lovely ways of using the Boughs of Holly collection, or bundle collection, with you add the paper. Yeah, very happy with that, and hopefully you will enjoy them as well. So that's our card number 3. So thank you very much for buying this class. I hope you'll be back next time. I'm going to take a bit of break from product classes over the Christmas time, over January, but there will be another one in November. And I think I'll take a break in December, and then I'll be back in January, if that makes sense. So don't know what we're going to do yet. Let's wait and see what the new mini catalogue brings. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed that one. Have a lovely Christmas, and if I don't see you all before, and I'll see you next time.